I don't think I really officially announced this yet, but I've named the wagon Desperado, and if you'd like a cool Desperado t-shirt in black, go to the link in the description below to get yourself one.
The beauty of the AFB Carb is its overwhelming simplicity. They're very easy to work on and rebuild, and when they run right, they run great. The biggest issues I've had with these carbs has more to do with the crappy California gas, which has about 10% ethanol in it. And ethanol just screws up the rubber components of your carburetor. If it wasn't for that, I'm sure these carbs would run problem-free for a long period of time. But now that we have blended fuels, you can't let these cars sit for very long because the rubber parts just go to shit. I've had them go to crap letting the car sit for as little as 3 months or so. And if you haven't noticed, a carb kit today is going to run you about 50 bucks. So if you have to let your old carbureted car sit for any length of time, try to get out there and at least fire it up every now and then. The worst thing you can do to a carb is let it sit.
Pretty dirty in there. All right, so the float needs to be about 15/16 from here to here in the extended position. Now, don't be fooled in thinking that that 16th is, one line in front of that 16. The really short lines are 30 seconds. You can see by that number right there. So you want to skip all those little short ones, and a 15/16, which is almost an inch, would land you basically right there. Obviously, somebody screwed with this carburetor before, because you can tell, well, hopefully you can see, I'm not sure you can, this float is sitting lower. So I know somebody screwed with them. Either this one's wrong or this one's wrong, or they're both wrong. That one looks pretty right. About right there, 15/16. This one is extremely low. Not correct at all. What this would cause is basically it's going to shut this float or shut this needle and seat off really early. The bowl's not going to fill full of gas, so then you're only going to have fuel from the other side. So this thing's going to basically starve for fuel. Now if it was bent too far in the other direction, it wouldn't shut off at all, and then the bowls would just overflow with fuel and you'll have gas leaking everywhere. Alright, so to adjust this, I'm going to grab it right here with the pliers and then give it a little bend. Let's see what that measures at. Still got a little ways to go. It's pretty far out, but here's the other thing bothering me. I think it's more this tab in the back here needs to be bent down. Come down a little bit more. Went a little too far. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now going to this side, I don't like how this looks. Even though it's measuring okay, this tab looks just, when you see all the float sitting in there, this one looks a little more flatter, this one isn't. So It's a problem with buying used carburetors is that, you know, when people get in here and start screwing with them, there's no telling what they screwed with. So I'm going to bend this guy be a little more like that. And in this direction, needs to go down. Alright, that looks good. I like the way those are swinging. They look even. They're both 15/16, and they're both a little more flat. Before I put the top on it, I want to get all these arms on here. So this one, you want to bend the throttle this way. See if you can see that. You want to bend this down this way. Put this guy in here. There's nothing that holds it in except it can't fall out when it's you know, up in the correct position. And on this side, or in the back, basically that's keyed, so it can only go in like this, and then it's going to swing up here and attach on the top. Something else that's bothering me is this arm is bent inward. Okay, I think I'm ready for the top. Let's get it back in. Okay, I don't want to put this in the Chem dip or the carb cleaner because the paint will come off. You know, you could always leave it off. I think it's kind of cool, even though it's kind of beat up. You never see them anymore because once Edelbrock bought the rights to the AFB, the Carter AFB competition series ceased to exist. So it's a little nostalgic, I guess. Alright, so if you have one of these Carter AFB aftermarket carburetors or an Edelbrock, the throttle bracket on it is generic, so it's basically made to fit all applications, Ford, Chevy, Mopar. But if you're running a Mopar, you want to get this throttle adapter. Basically, it's going to move the arm out for the throttle cable farther away from the carburetor where it's supposed to be on a Mopar. You can use a tiny screw, I'm not sure what size that is. And then down below, I'm using a 1/4-20 basically in this larger hole, and I'm using a lock washer with the nut. It's tight. That's tight.
right, it runs. It's running good. I don't have a choke at this point, but it's California and the weather is nice, so I could kick that can down the road for now. I showed you what's involved in the rebuild. As you can see, this is easy and something anybody can do with very little effort. If you forget where something goes, the Carb kit comes with illustrations that show you where all the components are, or you can just play back this video to see what you need to see. I now have a 440 that starts up pretty easily and runs great. That's one step closer to getting this car on the road. Don't forget to buy yourself a t-shirt, link in the description below. And if your AFB runs like crap, remember it's easy to rebuild and you won't have any issues doing it yourself. There is nothing cooler than driving a Mopar. It's just a bunch of nuts and bolts, and you can do this.